Hello and welcome back to my All Quests, All Endings Elden Ring guide. We're on part 13 now, and I'll just get that sacred tear. This is the Plague Church. We've just spoke to Milicent. We've given her the gold unalloyed needle, and we're going to ride down here and deal with these flying, singing thingamajiggeries and these bats. Again, you can skip that if you want to. While we're here, we're just going to deal with these demi-humans. We'll take out this troll that keeps throwing things at us, I think. Just going to give myself a bit more damage output. That's him dealt with. So jump on torrent, ride down. Then we're going to head over to Gowry's shack again. Only Gowry won't be there now, it'll be Milicent. If we've done everything right anyway. Kill the dog before we get close. Speak to Milicent. She'll tell you a bit more about herself. And she's going to focus on her journey and stay strong. So reload the area. Seal your staircase. This is probably the closest site of grace. Take anyone out that you want to for the runes or items. But you need to get back to Gowry's shack. So ride. Deal with the dog. Always deal with the dog because it can kill NPCs if it follows her. Speak to Gowry. He'll thank you for giving her the needle. And then he'll give you his knowledge about the... tell him that Milicent paid a visit. And give a bit more lore, a bit more story. Buy all his sorcerers. Make sure you've exhausted his dialogue. Once you're sure he's got nothing left to say, it's time to move on. So we're going to go back to this site of grace here. South Aeonia Lakeshore, I think. And we're going to ride to... obviously, if you haven't got the map fragment, pick that up while you're there. We'll go back to Caelum ruins now. We need to get to Fort Faroth. So again, you can skip these if you want to. Mainly we need to get across here. Use torrent to leap the gap. And we're in Greyoll's Dragonbarrow. Greyoll is the big sleeping dragon that's guarded by little dragons. Now it's another map fragment for you here. Just ride past these little dragons. Now if you're quick, you can actually kill Greyoll and get back to the site of grace so that he's sort of respawned. But you've got to be really quick. You're only really going to do it, I think, if you're already on torrent. And you can get really smooth at jumping off torrent and activating the grace. So, just going to have a quick practice at that. I have to say, it's not really my strong point, this isn't, but if you can do it, it might be worth giving it a go, especially if you need the runes. So, get yourself down here, use a bleed weapon so that you can take a chunk off that big health bar every so often. If you do it here, you shouldn't get attacked by the little dragons. Keep chipping away at the health. When it gets closer, be ready to ride. Your objective is to get back to that site of grace and activate it before it gives you a dragon heart. If you get the dragon heart, you've been too slow. May have been patched, don't know. But it's worth a try. So ride as quick as you can. You saw the dragon hearts appear, so I was too slow that time. But if you can get there a second faster, you'll make it. So anyway, that's dealt with. This is Fort Faroth, so deal with the bat things and the singing, Latin singing things. If you get killed, just start from the grace again. Do it again, but be a bit more careful. You can run past these if you're under-leveled. We've got enough for a level there, so we're going to put one into Arcane. Try and boost that damage output on those spells a little bit. So we're going to buff up properly this time so we do a bit more damage. So again, you can run past these if you want to. They can be a bit of a pain. Once you've dealt with them, grab the items and jump on the ladder. We'll get half of the Dectus medallion from this chest. Then jump down here. There'll be some ghost soldiers appearing. Deal with them or run past them. Doesn't really matter too much. There's a few runes in it for you. Might be a couple of item drops. The main thing is we need to drop down this hole, deal with the rats, jump over the gap, kill the rats or run past them, then drop down here, and that's given us Radagon Soreseal, which is a good talisman. Basically boosts pretty much most of your stats, and you do take more damage I think while using it, but if there's a weapon or something that you can't quite use, that's definitely something that might help you to use it without going away and leveling. While we're here, we're going to go and get a decent weapon as well, which is well worth having because it's a black flame weapon, and particularly if you're fighting things which have got a lot of health, anything that does black flame damage is good because black flame does 2% of max HP over 2 seconds. So the more HP things have got, the more damage it does. We just need to parkour our way to the top of the tower here. Killing these soldiers on the roofs. Climb the ladders. Again, you can use torrent here. It's worth it for some bits, but whether you want to use torrent or not, do whatever you're comfortable with. Don't fall off. Get to the top, climb the ladders, and activate the Sight of Grace. We'll come back there later to activate Radahn's Great Rune. For now, activate the Summoning Pool. This is quite a tricky parkour, I find. And unfortunately, I'm going to die quite a few times here. Again, I said this was going to be a warts and all guide, and it is going to be. This is not pretty. If you're good at parkour and you can land your jumps here, then you're doing better than me. You've got to land on that little sort of round bit sticking out to get down safely. At least you get your runes back every time fairly easily. And again, we died. I think this is the time when we finally do it. Got to get onto that round bit there. Once we're there, drop down here, then jump around that way. If you've got a good range attack, it's easier to take him out there than fight him on these narrow ledges. Use the cage lift to go up there. It's a fairly tough enemy around the corner here, so might be worth applying some damage buffs if you've got any. It's one of these black flame monk people. Grab yourself a rune art, go around this ledge, and drop down. It'll break, but you're fine. Use the cage to get to the bottom. Get the grace. Again, if this boss fight proves too tough for you, you can always leave it and come back later. We're trying to get a weapon called the Godslayer's Greatsword, which is a black flame weapon. It's pretty useful, it's pretty good. But it is quite a tough fight, so if you give it a go, and if it's too tough, come back and do it later. So Godskin Apostle there. We're using the unendurable frenzy, but as you can see, fighting him here in this room's quite tricky. This character is one that you fight in the Windmill Village in Altus Plateau as well, but there you've got a bit more room to manoeuvre. Again, it's well worth summoning your Mimic for this one. Again, we're going to go for that Cerulean Hidden Tier for the infinite FP for a few seconds, and then we're just going to hold down Unendurable Frenzy and try and get close enough for it to contact. There's quite good poise down resistors eventually. Obviously we've been hit with Madness there, but we don't mind too much because it's just extending the Black Dumpling Helm buff. Keep hitting him. Once he's dead, we'll get his outfit, which is pretty cool. Run down here, grab the chest, and we've got the Godslayer's Greatsword, which is what we came for. Now we're going to head back out to Greyoll's Dragonbarrow, and we're going to ride... Well, we're going to fast travel to Aeonia Lakeshore South, and then we're going to head down here, grab the Golden Seed. Feel free to ride past these if you want, or if you get annoyed with them, there is a Stake America nearby. You can kill them or ride past them. Get those runes back here. There'll be some soldiers fighting monsters here who, if you just hang around this area, that will give you a few runes eventually. We need to get that Sight of Grace first. Once you get that, we'll just climb this tower for the Arrow's Sting Talisman. So a few guards to fight in the way. It shouldn't trouble you too much. Keep climbing the ladders. Kill him. Kill him. Chest. It's got the Arrow's Sting Talisman. Nothing else really appears, so we can get on with the next bit. If you've done everything right now, this portal will be open, and that will take you to the inside Redmane Castle. If you haven't done everything right, you'll have to get across the Greatbridge. Once you get in here, speak to all the NPCs. You'll see Alexander's there, Blaidd is there, and Finger Maiden Theruline is there. And if you speak to her, she'll give you a new gesture. Jaren will be telling you about what's happening. Alexander's very pleased to be fighting a demigod. So I'll speak to your old friend Blaidd. You're looking forward to it. She just gives you the polite bow gesture. So that's pretty much got everything we want from here. We're going to run around, speak to Jaren again. Tell him you're ready. And he'll give you a bit of a cutscene, a bit of lore. And he'll see what General Radahn's been up to. So basically he's gone mad with Scarlet Rot, and this festival is all about him eating the dead warriors, but hopefully having an honourable death in battle. So, despite you kind of feel like they care about General Radahn, they're also they're quite happy when you kill him because he's got that honourable death in battle. So, once you're out here, take the lift. Grab a summoning pool and use the portal. The first challenge when you're fighting Radahn is trying to get to him without being killed by the arrows. Use the gold summon sign to get your friend to help you. You can hide behind some of these bits of debris to survive those purple arrow things. Again, once you've got the NPCs keeping him busy, you can apply the buffs. It's not worth doing at the start because you'll lose a lot of time getting to him. Once you get to him, dodge around. Try and use the summons as effectively as you can. When he's partway through his health, he'll start the second phase where he'll basically turn into a comet and hone in on you. And you've got to really try and dodge that. It's often quite tricky. But if you can't dodge that comet at the start of the second phase, there's only one other option, which is do enough damage that you kill him in the first phase, and the second phase doesn't even start. But it's not a mean feat. And we're actually going to do that this time. Again, we're trying to get as many summons involved as we can. Keep dodging, keep avoiding, let the NPCs get involved. May as well summon patches and the banners off after about 5 seconds. And we want to get Finger Maiden thoroughly in on the action as well. So you need to climb this dune. Once you get to the top, summon. Now hopefully all the NPCs will be keeping him busy. You can apply some buffs to get your damage going. So we've got Madness, that's activated the Black Dumpling Helm. We're using Flame Grant Me Strength. We're using Golden Vow. Then we've got the Cerulean Hidden Tear in that Flask of Wondrous Physic. And we're going to use Unendurable Frenzy. So we drank the flask, getting into range, and we're just going to keep pouring the damage on. And we're just going to do enough that he's taken out before he started his second phase. I think there was a bit of stance breaking in there that helped. Once that's finished, we'll get a quick cutscene where we see a comet come down and hit Limgrave, which means we can now get to Nokron. Make sure when you finish the cutscene, you speak to Blaidd. We'll be here. He'll be really happy with how it went. And I'll be very impressed with you as well. Not surprised considering we just took him out in the first phase, but once you've exhausted his dialogue, there's one more person we need to speak to here, but we might have to rest at the Grace first to get him to appear. There he is. It's Alexander, and he'll tell you well done basically, and he'll complain about the fact that he got cracked during the fight, but he's going to go up to Mount Gelmir to try and make himself hard again. And he's filling himself up with new dead warrior bodies to make himself strong again. So that'll do for this part. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in part 14.